AI agents have an opportunity to completely revolutionize the sales and marketing functions at your company. Let's talk about the three biggest mistakes that you can make that will cause your AI agent implementation to fail. The first one is not identifying your data elements and all of your data sources. This is a big one because a lot of times when the AI agent gets ready to come on board and you get ready to design and develop and roll them out, you have your legacy system that has a lot of data that you use quite frequently. But if the AI agent is going to improve and be effective and more efficient than the processes that you're already doing, your AI agent is going to need access to some of that information that is in siloed systems that your current sales team has to access manually. So it's important for you in the beginning and the initial stages to identify all of your customer related data and all of your data sets, and then begin cleaning up that data before the implementation starts. I've been on so many projects as a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms in the world, as a technology consultant and manager. I've seen so many times when projects were delayed and projects did not do very well. They didn't reach their goals because the data was so bad. You want to start that process of cleaning up your data, identifying your data sources. Make sure this is a this is a big one. Make sure that when you're cleaning up your data, make sure that you have a firm understanding of what your unique identifier is going to be. If you do not have a unique identifier for your customer or your client or whoever you're doing conducting business with, and if it's not something that can be used across all data sets, then there's going to be some work that you may need to do in order to create a unique identifier. Your data is not cleaned up until you have a good unique identifier that will tie all of your pieces of data together, and you remove all your duplicates. That's very important as well. And then look for any test or demo data and purge any of that test or demo data that people typically create in systems. Once you have your data set clean and you can hire an outside firm to do it, then you're ready to move forward. So don't make that mistake. Clean up your data before the project starts, clean it up in the planning phases of the project. The second big mistake that I've seen that will cause your AI agent implementation to fail is so many firms they get really excited about the technology. They get really excited about what efficiencies that they can create. They get super excited about the additional revenue and the additional profit that they're going to create once they have a successful AI agent implementation. And they get too far ahead of themselves without documenting their business processes. Now, your current sales team, your current marketing team, the people who are currently working in those departments and those business units in your firm, they have processes that they are doing that most likely are not documented. The landscape, when you think about reaching your ideal prospect and nurturing them and converting them into a sale, that landscape changes so frequently that the business processes that your teams are using in order to be successful in their day-to-day job, a lot of those business processes are not updated and they're not documented. Before you design, before you implement a piece of technology like AI agents, you want to make sure that those processes are documented. I cannot stress that enough. There is a huge risk that you take on when you begin to develop and design and you begin to test and roll out new technology into your enterprise infrastructure, technology infrastructure, when you don't have set business processes that can inform your design. Let's just take, for example, someone who is going to deliver a AI agent in a hybrid agile software development lifecycle. As you begin building in that first month or the designing in the first month, you may have a set of requirements that are based on your current business processes that are known, like known business processes. And you may scope the entire project, you may scope the staffing model, you may scope the cost of the project, all based on the documented business processes. But then as you get through the first month and you're into the second month of development, once we begin having those in-depth conversations about what people are actually doing, if we identify additional business processes that make the build more complex, then it's going to cost more. It's going to be a change order. And a lot of times it can end up increasing the cost of your implementation, increasing the cost of the entire project and your entire roadmap. And when that happens, it could put in jeopardy your expected return on investment and when you're going to get that return on investment that you're making in the AI agent. So make sure before the project starts, when you're still in that planning phase, make sure that you go through your entire teams, your entire business unit, and document all the processes. Now you may be thinking, what are the critical elements that you need to document? You need to document what the process is, what the business process is. You may need to hire a business analyst for this particular role, but identify what the process is, identify who was doing the process, so the number of users that are doing it. You want to identify the amount of times or the repetitiveness of the process on a weekly basis. And the weekly basis can be extrapolated for the entire year. And you can kind of understand where I'm going with that. And then you want to identify what is the average time it takes for one person to do that process. If you do all of that, you'll be able to extrapolate those calculations over an entire year and you'll be able to identify which business processes should be prioritized highest when you get ready to do an AI agent implementation. The idea is this is a very powerful piece of technology. It's going to cost, but you can get that return on investment back. It will be a successful investment for you if you're able to use that AI agent to automate some of those very repetitive, very time consuming tasks that your employees or your team members are doing. Those should be your highest priority tasks. And so when I say document your business processes, you want to document and prioritize them based on that criteria. I've seen projects who don't do it, and this is why it's a huge mistake. They don't document the business processes, and you look back later on and you see all the change orders and you see the frustration on everyone's faces, and it's a high burn project. Everyone is feeling burned out, and you think and you wonder why a project didn't go well. It was sold correctly, the orals went well, the kickoff went well, everything went well. There was no like initial red flags, but as we get into the build, as you get into the implementation, the teams begin to realize like, oh, the things that we just took for granted, the things that I do and I didn't communicate or I didn't take time to document, those weren't estimated, those weren't planned for, those weren't designed for, and now we have to adjust the design, adjust the build, adjust the testing process. You essentially complicate the entire project because we didn't have those business processes as part of the requirements at the beginning of the project. So don't make that mistake. Um, the best case scenario, if you don't document your business processes, is you'll have a delayed project. The worst case scenario is you won't have an implementation of AI agent at all. You'll have to start over from scratch, and that'd be horrible. So don't do that. The last mistake that I'm going to cover that will cause your AI agent implementation to fail is when companies do not do a thorough assessment of the technology solutions that are available to them. Now, I know it's easy to figure out what your competitor is doing or what another business unit is doing or what someone based on someone who's working at a particular company is doing. But it is important for you and for your company to conduct an assessment of the technological solutions, the AI agent offerings that are going to be best suited for your industry and for your business unit's functions. There's a lot of people out there who get along the way and they select a vendor or they select an application And when we begin to implement that application and we begin to design and build and develop, and we're in that testing phase of the project, a lot of times something comes up either at a conference or something comes up in a conversation in the hallway, or someone gets sent an email and they realize, hey, there's another application out there. There's another offering out there. There was a better solution for us out there that if we would have used it, we would have more capability for the next 5, 10, 15 years, because that application is going to continue to iterate, it's going to continue to grow, it's going to continue to get more advanced. And the solution that we went with, or the solution that was selected without a thorough vetting process, mind you, but the solution that was selected only gives us good value for the next year, maybe the next 2 or 3 years, but it doesn't have the runway that another solution or another enterprise level solution would have. That's why when you engage one of the big four accounting firms in the world, when you're engaged one of their teams, a lot of times they're going to be bringing you enterprise level solutions that are going to provide value for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, instead of solutions that are only going to provide you value for the first year, maybe 1 to 3 years. It's just we look a lot more long term about, we think a lot more long term about the solutions that we propose to our clients. And I do the same thing. I'm not going to bring my clients as a consultant, as a technology consultant. I'm not going to bring my clients solutions or suggestions that are only going to provide value for the next 1 to 3 years. I always try to make recommendations that will generate revenue and generate profits, and will be able to increase efficiencies for my clients for the next 5 to 10, 15, 20 years. I always want the longest um, the longest returns on investments. There's some people out there who are going to make recommendations and reviews. You can see the websites. And when you think about making an assessment of the AI agent applications and the solutions that are out there, there's a lot of biased people out there. And it is important for you to engage either an independent consultant or engage a major consultancy that is going to provide you a high quality recommendation that is not tainted by their preference on selling a piece of work for you. A lot of times the people who make the assessment, guess what? They're a little bit biased because they want to sell, or they have an agreement with one of the vendors that they're making an assessment on. So the assessment that they provide you is going to lean one way or the other. And it may not provide you the most honest assessment or the most transparent assessment of what your best options are. So that's what you should look for. Look for if you're working with a consultancy firm, either get someone who's very independent, who doesn't have an arrangement with any of the vendors, or find someone who has an arrangement with all of the vendors or with the majority of the vendors. Don't go in between. When you're looking for someone to help you make an assessment on the AI agent technology, either go with someone who has no official or no business arrangement with any of the vendors. That will allow them to be more transparent. That will allow them to be more objective. Or go with someone who has multiple um, relationships with the AI agent vendors. That's a strategy that you should definitely take if you plan on getting an honest assessment of what AI agent applications are best suited for you and your business unit as you begin to do that initial implementation. If you haven't taken notes, start taking notes now. The first mistake is not identifying your data and not cleaning it up. That will cause your AI agent implementation to fail. The second mistake is not identifying and documenting your business processes. You have to also remember you have to prioritize those business processes as well. Those business processes are going to be the ones that the AI agent is actually going to do that's going to generate the most value for you. And the last mistake, if you're not getting an honest assessment, an unbiased assessment, an assessment that is full of professional integrity, then your AI agent implementation can fail because you're going to start using an AI agent application or a piece of technology that your business unit doesn't really need or can't really use in 5, 10, 15, however many years your roadmap goes out to. I hope you enjoyed this message. I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. Bye.